Welcome back, mother lovers, to a brand new episode of Last Call at McLaren'S, or in this case, Last Call at Pemberton's. That's right. We are here to talk some How I Met Your Father on the best damn How I Met Your Father podcast of all time. I'm changing it. It's all time now. It's not just on the internet. It could be, just recorded on an audio tape.
One of these days, we're going to get like a letter, and it's just going to be like, you need to stop saying this shit.
Yeah. Nope, never. I will never stop. Ever. But that's right, folks. We are here for season 2, episode 2 of How I Met Your Father, titled Midwife Crisis.
I like how they do like these playfully interesting titles.
Yeah, me too. I was like, Midwife Crisis. I'm intrigued as to what this is going to be. So I'm excited to talk about this one. Original air date for this episode, January 31st of 2023. So if you're listening from far in the future, now you know exactly when it came out. This was directed by the amazing P. Fry herself, Pamela Fry. Yes. And written by Daniel and Matthew Libman. These guys previously did work writing and producing on shows like Robot Chicken, Metalocalypse, Dr. Ken, Solar Opposites, and a show that I love that ended too soon, Happy Endings, which is a good one.
I love Happy Endings.
But it got canceled. Yes, I mean, those are good as well. But it got canceled, unfortunately, and did not get to finish. So that is the opposite of a happy ending.
I was going to say, that's some blue balls right there.
Yeah. So
nobody ever likes it when you don't get to finish a happy ending.
It's true. It's a little ironic there, but it is what it is. So the summary for this episode: as she waits for the gallery to call, Sophie lands a gig she lied to get and enlists Vale to help. Jesse forces Sid and Meredith to work out their differences. And this summary just completely ignores Ellen and Charlie. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I was going to say, it ignores the third part of the story on this, but wow.
Yeah. Ellen and Charlie.
You know what, then? We're going to start by talking about Ellen and Charlie.
All right, let's do it then, man.
I felt that this was the best part of the entire story this week.
Yeah, it was good to see Ellen, because like last episode, Ellen really didn't get much to do.
I was going to say, she didn't have much screen time in the season premiere.
No,
so
not at all.
This week, poor Ellen, and I feel so bad for her because she's dealing with so much still. Yeah. She's going through this little bit of a crisis where the girl across the hall that she gave her number to still hasn't called her or contacted her in any way. So she's like freaking out. Yeah. And she's like, well, maybe I should text her. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I should call her. Maybe I should go knock on the door. And Charlie's like, why don't we just leave the door open?
Yeah.
And she'll just come in on her own. Which, first off, I'm not 100% sure I would do that living in New York City.
No, yeah, just leaving the door open. Okay, so I lived in an apartment building. I'm sorry, but just because somebody has their door open doesn't mean I'm just going to walk in and be like, hey, your door's open. Then you want some company. Like, what? Come on.
Are you having a party? You're having a party? Like, who the fuck assumes because the door is open?
To me, it makes sense that, to think that Rachel might do this because she knows her.
True.
You know what I mean? But the random people who just walk into their apartment because the door is open, really? Do people do this?
Well, that's what I thought. And it started with the two older guys.
They were hilarious.
And I'm like, they were. And well, the one gentleman, he's from Two Broke Girls.
Yes.
And that's what I recognized him from. And I was just
he's hilarious on that too.
Oh, he is. He's hilarious in the few things that I've seen him in, usually.
Yeah.
And as much as this storyline doesn't go too far, like it's the
shortest of the three.
It is, but it's the best of the three because it ends with Ellen finally getting to go over and talk to. You said her name was Lauren?
No, Rachel.
Rachel. I should remember that. Rachel. Okay, so she finally goes over and talks to Rachel, and Rachel's like, I was gonna text you, and then I didn't. She goes, and then I was gonna send you some like song lyrics, and then I started watching these videos, and I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, they just realized that they were both really insecure about it.
I mean, tell me you've never been that way when you're texting somebody.
Oh, absolutely.
Or,
Yeah, absolutely. I overthink a lot of things in my life.
Been there.
Yeah. So, I mean, I totally got where both of them were coming from.
Yeah.
And yeah, I'm glad that they're moving forward with the Ellen and Rachel stuff. Because I like from what we've seen of Rachel, I like her, and I think they'll make a good they'll complement each other as a couple.
I agree.
For however long they decide to run that storyline. There was a couple funny things though that happened throughout this piece of the story. There was one that I wrote down specifically just because it was a pun that made me laugh, and it was when Charlie was watering the plant and he called it Planthony Hopkins, and I don't know why it made me laugh so hard.
I laughed. There's no amount of water that can bring Planthony Hopkins back.
And he just so nonchalantly says it. It was too funny. And then we were talking about the two old guys and how they kept talking about, like, they had their own little story going.
They did.
Talking about like their wives and stuff. Yeah, I'm just
their wives went on some safari and have never returned, and it's been like 20 years.
Yeah, I think he said 27 years. I'm like, I want these guys to pop back up again.
Well, here's my big question though. Okay, so they've been missing for 27 years. They're presumably dead.
They found a bone.
They found a bone.
A bone.
And I'm like, holy shit. But yes, I would love to see those two pop back up again. I would 100% be okay with that.
Here's what I wonder. Maybe they didn't die, John. Maybe they ran off together. Who knows? They just left their husbands.
It's funny that you say that because I thought about that. I thought about what if they ran off together because they were unhappy in their relationships. And then I was like, they made the bone comment that there was a bone found. And I was like, maybe they were eaten. Maybe it was planted bone.
But they never specify if it was one of the wife's bones. They just said they found a bone.
That is true as well.
Yeah. So we really don't know one way or the other when it comes to that. But yeah, I really liked this part of the story. I thought it was really fun. I love Ellen and Charlie as like a dynamic duo.
I mean, they had a lot of time to shine in season 1 too, where they bonded even during the Val and Charlie storyline. And I'm like, okay, like Charlie and Ellen make such a fun pair. And I love the scene where she comes out of the bedroom and she's like, how do I look? And he's like, 1,000,000 pounds. And she's like,
pounds.
Oh, and he's like, the money, not the weight.
Yeah.
Or the currency, not the
measure of
however
weight.
He says it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just like, British humor.
Yeah, I thought that was actually really good. His comment when she's like, you tell me if I was ugly, right? He's like, of course. I always tell people when they're ugly.
Yes.
That's why the Fuggo Super won't fix our sink.
Yes. And when he said that, I was like, damn.
Yeah, man. He roasted that guy. Oh, man. That was, So that was the Ellen and Charlie stuff. Good stuff there. I really enjoyed it.
Well, let's build it up to the Sophie and Val.
Okay. All right. So then we'll talk about Sid, Jesse, and Meredith.
So before we even get into this, I'm just going to say I do not like where his character has been season 2 so far. We are 2 episodes in.
Yeah. That is, in my opinion, is because of Meredith.
It's 100%.
She's to me, she's a very unlikable character. And maybe that's just because we know everything that has happened with her. And so we're like meant to not like her. But she doesn't help herself. It sucks too
because we have meta information that he doesn't know.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
So starting in this season, he's been a whiny, needy, and kind of jealous guy. He's got the world right now by the balls in his court, but yet he's still whiny and fucking. And this episode, like, I'm gonna say this meanly. If Jesse's character was to walk out of the building complex right now and get hit by like a taxi and died, I wouldn't fucking care. Because his character has just taken such a turn. I don't like it. Like
that's why I'm hoping it doesn't. That this whole Meredith thing doesn't actually last long. I'm really hoping that it's ended before she goes on tour.
I hope so as well.
That's what because like otherwise he's gone for what it was a month, right?
Yeah.
I don't know when she's supposed to leave, but if they break up before that, we don't have to deal with any of that, and then she can just kind of disappear for a while.
True.
Because I don't and what we learn in this episode, I don't like her even more.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like, she just seems like, for lack of better terms, she's that C word that we try not to say too often on recording. But
yeah, I mean,
she's a bug cake.
She's so arrogant but like she tries to be nice. Like she acts all nice.
Yeah,
but all she's done for a lot of the episode is just like talk about herself and boast about all the like. I mean, the episode starts off with her talking about all these talk shows that she's going on, like showing off essentially.
Well, that was another thing too. Is like, you know, so diving into that story, there's the scene where Sid brings out the grilled cheese.
Okay, yeah. First off,
those grilled cheese looked phenomenal.
I need me one of those. I don't know what kind of bread he was using or what he did, but those things
I'm assuming that was a sourdough.
They are friggin' huge, and I want one.
I was like, he's got like a good slab of cheese in there. So I was like, okay, grilled cheese looked phenomenal just for a start. And I'm like, okay. And then Jesse walks away to go get, he got like ranch, I think he said he was going to get.
Yeah, okay. I have an issue here. Who the fuck eats ranch with their grilled cheese sandwich? Secondly, he comes out and he's like, hey, babe, do you want ketchup? And both Sid and Meredith say yes. Who the fuck eats ranch or ketchup on a grilled cheese sandwich? It bothered me.
Yeah,
it shouldn't. It just did.
So when Sid's holding the plate of grilled cheese, Meredith is just instantly like, oh, I'll take one. Mm-hmm. First off, I don't remember your bitch ass being asked if you wanted a grilled cheese.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I'm sorry. That would be like, yeah, it's not your fucking house. Don't ever assume that just because somebody makes food in their house, you're included in that.
I love that Sid, he did not relent. He was not going to let her have one at all.
Hell no. I wouldn't let her have one either.
Even like at the end of that scene, when he goes to leave the room, she goes to reach for him, and he's like, and he grabs the plate and takes it with him.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And this is where their storyline really kicks off, is that he's like, you've had a lot of problems with Meredith. And Jesse's like, well, I want to crush this. I want to know why you guys have so many problems with one another. And you know, Sid's just like, listen, I'll tell you exactly why I've got problems with her, but you're not going to like it.
Yeah.
So it is. I mean,
when they go to do the like conflict resolution type thing or whatever they called it, that stack of cards he's got was insane. It was like,
oh yeah,
it was like 2 packs of index cards worth.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm like, that's a lot of stuff.
You know, somewhere that dude's got like a notebook and he's just like been writing shit down.
Well, I mean, we find out in this that he journals, and he wanted to do code journaling. Journal? Yeah.
I thought that was kind of sweet though.
I leave every other page blank just in case you change your mind.
Yep. But yeah, I was just like, so they skipped to like this, they call it the burrito incident. And Sid talks about how, you know, he was trying to get fit and he was lifting. So he started making burritos at home, and he had like
meal prepping. Yeah.
He was meal prepping a burrito a day, which good for him. You know, he found healthy burritos to make up. And then he's talking about how Jesse had this recital and he came home to get these flowers. and he catches Meredith eating a burrito that he had made.
Yeah,
and she's
and she couldn't go to this thing because she was sick.
Because she was sick. Yeah,
that was the whole big thing about this. Yeah. Okay,
So-
so when he first finds that the burrito is missing, he finds a little tag and then the trail of stuff. I don't know if you did, but my brain instantly went to the Mosby boys.
Ha!
I mean, they didn't go anywhere near in depth with it, like with that kind of a thing. But I was like, Ted Mosby would have been on this. He would have been on. He would have been.
Now, here's where my complaint to this came. She leaves the fucking sticker like on the floor, trail of like food to the bedroom.
Yeah.
Why was she not using a fucking plate?
Right? Like, also, why the fuck are you opening it there and then like eating it as you walk? Just take it to the bedroom, open it there. Like,
or that, yeah. Why are you shredding the tinfoil like a savage?
Yeah, that's another. It's like that's another reason I don't like her.
Like, I'm just like, man.
It's like if somebody had such disrespect toward me that they're just gonna leave beans and shit all over my floor,
right?
Nah, get the fuck out.
Get the fuck out.
Yeah.
Like, I agree with you on so many levels to that. And that's layer 1 of the burrito. Layer 2 is that Sid reveals that when he came back and he sees her eating the burrito, she's on the phone. Mm-hmm. And she's talking shit about Jesse and his recital and how these kids, and she doesn't want to sit there and listen to them. And and my heart goes out so hard on this one because he looks at the card and it's like, she never loved you.
Yeah, I wrote it down. It's she doesn't really love you is what he wrote.
Oh,
down.
Is that okay? But still, though, he's right though.
Yeah,
and so you and I have went through a lot of relationships together. We've always been there for one another. We've always helped each other pick up the pieces, move on, and do what we can for each other.
Yeah.
And this one here reminds me of when I broke up with Sarah and you broke up with Jen. So both of us went through a very hard time after that. And that's what Jesse's going through. Like, Jesse's going through something, and he just isn't dealing with it very well.
Yeah,
I went to alcohol, and you went to just completely shutting out the world. Like,
that
we both
true,
went different routes that, like, were not good for either of us.
Yeah. And the thing is like, I feel like when the inevitable happens and she breaks his heart again, I feel like he's going to spiral out.
Yes.
You know, because he's essentially shaping his personality around her now. And like, what do you do with that as a character? You know?
Do at that point is try to bounce back to being yourself as quick as possible. And that's not always a good coping mechanism either.
Yeah.
Not that I'm here to give relationship advice, because I'm 6 years single at this point. But like, I mean, you do what you gotta do.
Yeah, I mean, my wife left me, so I mean, who am I to give advice?
I will say it like this: maybe Jesse just needs to, at this point, just stop trying to be in a relationship and be more of a Barney Stinson for a little while.
Yeah. But see, that's the problem. Is like he obviously fell for Sophie.
Oh,
and he feels like he screwed up, but he also feels like she pushed him away. And instead of just coping with that, he instantly backslid.
Oh, 100%. He overcorrected.
Absolutely overcorrected.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't allowing himself to come to terms with that. He's just leaning into the skid.
Oh, yeah, 100%. 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I don't know where it's gonna go. I hope, because like you said, I don't like him either right now.
Listen,
and
I want to see
I loved him in season 1.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. In season 1, he was one of my favorite characters.
Yeah.
I liked the quirky guy and like his little like.
Yeah.
I am who I am.
Yeah.
So far in this season, in the 2 episodes we've gotten, I'm like, fuck Jesse, throw him out the fucking window.
Yeah. So
hopefully
that will change.
Let Walter White show up at his door and just put a bullet between his eyes. Bam!
I'm the one that knocks.
Now,
all right.
Let's talk about Val and Sophie.
Yes, sir.
Now,
the
one thing I will say about How I Met Your Father, I am very thankful that in season 1 they established that Sophie and Val like to go to yoga class. Because anytime I get to see Hilary Duff in stretchy clothing, I am a happy man.
I literally wrote down in my notes, return of yoga gear.
Oh, yeah. And not only was she in yoga gear, dude, she was sweaty.
She was. Absolutely.
And I know I sound like a complete horn dog right now to all our listeners, but let's just admit it.
Dude,
Hilary Duff
she is gorgeous. She is so gorgeous. And she's one of the few, like, early Disney pop stars that didn't go off the rails, you know? Because she was
full Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, I mean, well, she didn't take the Britney turn. She didn't take the Christina Aguilera turn. Like True. They all kind of had their kind of like downfalls for a while. But she never did. She never did.
No, she stayed out of the limelight, had her kid.
Yeah. Speaking of kids, that's what this whole section is about.
Oh, boy, is it.
Oh, now, yeah.
This week's episode of How I Met Your Father saw a special guest.
Yes, it did.
And I told Josh, I watched this episode twice and didn't realize either time who it was. Josh, who did we see this week?
We got Meghan Trainor, the pop star herself, coming in as Ramona, the pregnant neighbor who's getting ready to have her kid. Which is funny because I found out that the day before this episode aired, Meghan Trainor revealed that she was pregnant.
Oh, no way.
Yeah.
Fair.
I just thought that was kind of neat. Kind of a cool little... So she very well might have been pregnant while filming this episode. I don't know how far back they film. But you never know.
I don't know. I mean, that's kind of a fun question to know then.
Yeah. But so she is having a home birth, and Sophie apparently told her that she's done tons of home birth photo shoots, and she's never done one at all.
Well, we skipped a little bit into this one. You skipped over future Sophie talking to her son about being a liar.
That is true.
Which, well, we'll quick over that because that's not really important. I mean, it is important to the story, but it's really not. Future Sophie says that she's a liar and that she learned how to handle that, and she was going through this time.
Yeah. Whenever she gets like stressed or insecure, she said she
insecure, which is pretty much all the time.
Like crazy. Yeah.
So she's waiting for the gallery to call, and they're in yoga class. She thinks she gets the call from the gallery, and it's not. It's some other ladies.
That whole scene, she plows everybody, including Vale, over.
Yeah,
just everybody down,
and not even I'm sorry.
And it's not even her phone.
Not even her phone.
I'm just like, damn, girl. It's like they'll leave a message. Trust me.
And that's it. They'll leave a message, and if it's important, they'll call you back.
Yeah, exactly.
So then we end up outside of Pemberton's, or it wasn't. It's Pemberton. No, it's
Yeah, they were outside Pemberton's.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm right. I know where I was. And so she's like, "Oh God, there's Meredith," and blah blah blah, and
this is her first time officially meeting her.
Yeah.
And so she was all freaking out about meeting her for the first time and worried about her hating her, all this stuff, and apparently Meredith just doesn't care.
Well, and that's it. Like Meredith, like, oh, okay, whatever. Yeah. But like, did they not realize they were standing in front of a big open window? Like she's trying to like put makeup on and like she looked fine. Like, she really looked fine.
Yeah. I mean, she was a little sweaty, but other than that, you just dry yourself off, you're good to go.
Couldn't even notice. I was too busy being like, damn, Hillary, what's up?
That's fair. I mean, I get it.
So then, so that leads into her lying about her picture selling at the gallery. And then we flash forward a little bit to they're doing the home birth. Yeah. Now, this is where things take a big turn. And, like, I want to talk about a few things that happen here. And it makes me laugh. So first, they set up the pool.
Yes.
Or the hot tub thing.
Yeah.
And they don't realize there's a pump in there.
I love that.
When you took it out of the box, you didn't see it?
They were over halfway done with that pool.
Yeah.
Before they realized, apparently, that there was a pump in there.
And that's what I'm saying, though. But you didn't realize it when you took it out of the box? Number
that's
2.
Why I always check. I always take every single thing out of the box before I do anything with anything.
Yeah. And that's what I'm saying. And number 2, Sophie fills it with straight hot water.
Yeah. It's like you didn't check the water before you just let it run in there.
And number 2, what kind of apartment complex do you live in that you filled something that big with straight hot water and never ran out? Because I want that.
Yeah, that agreed, man. And like,
because I can't take more than a 30-minute shower. Exactly. Yeah. I can't take more than a 30-minute shower without running out my hot water tank.
Yeah.
I also live in a place that has a tiny fucking hot water tank, but
that's true. But like, there are days where it's like I'm 10 minutes in and I run out of hot water.
And that's why I'm like, man, she filled up this huge fucking pool thing, scalding hot water. It's so fucking hot.
Yeah.
And then cooled it down with like
how do they cool it down? Yeah,
with like 2 pounds of shrimp.
Just fucking frozen shrimp, man.
This is all I'm saying. That shrimp better have come out of that pool like fully cooked.
I mean, it wasn't in there that long, so I don't know.
Yeah, but they made it seem like that pool cooled down amazingly.
That's
like
true.
The perfect temperature.
That's true. I don't know because I don't eat shrimp, so I don't know how long it takes to cook some shrimp. So
I don't know. But
she did, however, offer to give Ramona shrimp. So it's like, what if she had taken it and it wasn't cooked and you just gave a pregnant lady raw shrimp? Like I don't know. That can't be healthy. I don't know.
You wouldn't think so. But I loved. And then Ramona gets in the pool or like she.
Well, no, you missed a thing.
I did. You're right.
Sophie fell in the pool first.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious to me.
Oh yeah.
Because she goes down hard in that thing.
So hard. So hard.
Yeah, Hillary Duff took one for the team on that scene.
It was fucking hilarious.
It was, man, and she plays it off real cool.
I was blessing the pool. Like,
yes. Would you like some shrimp? Birthing shrimp. Yeah, birthing shrimp. Birthing shrimp. But yeah, and so then Ramona gets in, and they start. They're getting ready. And they're on the phone with the midwife because the midwife couldn't make it, but she's on the phone.
No, of course, they called 911.
Was it 911? I assumed it was the midwife. I didn't realize it was 911.
Yeah, because she says that the midwife is stuck on a tram. She goes, "There's a subway or a trolley." She goes, "There's a tram and a subway," and she took the trolley. And then so she's on the phone with 911's operator, and drops her phone in the fucking. But she's also holding her phone like this.
Yeah, and she's like, all wet, so like she's slippery and shit. Yeah.
And I'm like, and she's like leaning over the pool where like if my arm is the pool, she's over it, so it's like in the pool area, and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you asking for all this bad shit to happen today?
Right? It's like if you're supposed to be helping her, then maybe have Valentina hold the phone.
Maybe.
You know what I mean? Like that would have been a good idea.
So
but yeah,
I was just like,
was not thinking. But yeah, so they do the home birth and everything, and it's a pretty wild scene, just a lot of screaming and whatnot.
It is, but it's kind of funny.
It is funny, but it goes off without a hitch. And we do see a picture of her with the baby, which is cool. at the end, I'm going to skip a little bit, but at the end, we find out that Ramona named the kid Riley, and spelled weird. R-Y, because she spells it out. She's like Ryleigh. And apparently, Meghan Trainor's real son is named Riley. It's spelled Riley, but her kid's name is Riley.
That's cool.
Which I thought was kind of interesting. But before that part even happens, after the birth and everything, they go back to Pemberton's because they're all jazzed up after this. They're like, we can't believe we just did this. And Sophie's kind of feeling a bit more humbled now, and she goes and actually apologizes to Meredith.
Yeah, right to her face.
Yeah, I thought that was big of her. Until after what happens next, when she gets a phone call from the gallery, and they sold her photo, and then she gets up in her face again. She's like, "Take that, Meredith.
Take that one."
But yeah, and that's when we wind up seeing like the whole thing with Sid, with the card and all that stuff. But I think overall, I enjoyed this episode. Honestly, I think it was better than the premiere. I thought it was.
Oh, it was definitely better than the premiere.
Yeah, it had better flow, had better humor, and we got stuff from everybody, which was nice. Yeah,
and it was nice to not see because Val and Charlie didn't have any interaction in this episode because Val was really tied up with helping out Sophie,
which is fine because they're broken up, so it's not like we have to see them do stuff together.
But I feel like the first episode was like, oh my god, even though we broke them up, we still have to put them together.
Yeah,
and it's like you don't have to put them together.
I mean, maybe not as much as they did, but you need a little bit of reminder and explanation as to how their dynamic's going to work.
Oh. Yeah, but I mean, they don't have to be together every episode in solo situation.
No. Yeah, not at all.
I really liked the dynamic of this episode where it was like, Sid and Charlie are trying to, Sid and Jesse are trying to do their thing together. And, the whole Meredith thing, like it's the third wheel. There's all the tension between Sid and Meredith, and Jesse's got his blinders on. Yeah. And Charlie and Ellen are trying to do their thing. But she also is trying to, to have the whole Rachel thing as well.
Yep.
I mean, it was a good episode overall. Sophie's, trying to find her niche right now where she's not so.
Yeah, I agree, and I think that stylistically, I think this show is really getting into a good groove, bringing on like the traits from How I Met Your Mother and stuff. There was the scene where Sid was telling the story of the right before the burrito incident, and so they're talking in the flashback, but it's Sid's voice.
Yes,
that's stuff that they did on How I Met Your Mother lots of times. It's a technique that they used. And I've noticed in just these first two episodes that they've been playing with a bit more of those techniques that they used in the original series, which I really like to see.
Yeah, it gives it more of the feel of like you're really watching a How I Met Your Mother spinoff.
Yeah, absolutely.
While still having new characters give it to you.
Yeah, it's similar because we both just watched that 90s show.
Yes,
and it's the same kind of thing. It's like you got these brand new characters, but you still the world still feels like that world that we were in before. So, that's one of the biggest things that I loved about this, this show right now, these two episodes that we've gotten from this season, because it feels more like that world that we were in How I Met Your Mother.
Correct.
Yeah, so, yeah. All right. Do you got anything else that you want to say about the episode?
I do not.
Okay. Well, then why don't you let everybody know where they can find you?
Listen, people, it's easy to find me. You hop on over to Twitter. It's that little blue bird it's a white bird in a blue box, or it's a blue bird in a white box, or however they do it these days. You type in at the little magnifying glass and you search for Simply Sane J1. and then I should come up, and it's like a Batman logo that says "Simply Sane" with J. Josh made that for me because he's pretty awesome like that. I have a podcast and I have a blog, and I like to talk about myself and air out my traumatic problems for the world to read and see because I have no privacy boundaries at all.
Join in with the trauma.
If you want to know anything about me, please feel free to ask. I'm an open book. I will share anything you want to know. I like to think that I am like eccentrically awesome, but really I'm probably not. I'm probably like that uncle you don't let near your kids because you're afraid I'm gonna like teach them something really bad. Like I could teach them to say bitch, make me a sandwich. Or if they're not feeling sandwiches, waffles, because sometimes you just want a nice hearty waffle.
Everybody likes a good hearty waffle, and if you don't, then fuck you.
Exactly. And if you want to follow this tubby motherfucker, you hit that little magnifying glass and you search Merc blog or movie blog Merc. Sorry.
I was gonna be like, wrong.
I mean, it's right there on the screen too. All I gotta do is read it. Movie blog Merc.
That's right, folks.
Josh does a lot of fun stuff with comics and movies and trailers, and he can read books.
I can read books. That's true. I do know how to read. But yes, folks, follow me on Twitter at movieblogmerc. That is the Twitter page for my site, Merc with Movie Blog. If you are watching this on YouTube, you are watching it on the Merc with Movie Blog YouTube channel. So be sure to hit that like button if you like what you're watching. Smash that subscribe button. And
fucking click that bell if you can find it.
Wherever
get yourself notified of all of our
posts. You know, we're posting while this show is running, we're posting 2 of these a week. So, you know, get up on it. You don't want to miss it. You don't want to miss it at all.
I mean, I know we're a day late with this one, so we fucking apologize, okay? Shit happens.
Yeah, you know, whatever. And you can, if you're going to listen to us on podcast form, you head over to anchor.fm/last call HIMYM. And while you're there, leave us a voice message. We'd love to hear from you guys. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, you can leave us a 5-star review, and you know, we'll read that out on air. So be sure to do that. We're also on all the others like Spotify and Stitcher and all those, you know, other good pods, whatever, wherever you listen. I'm sure you can find us anywhere there. But yeah, make sure you follow us, this channel here on Twitter at Last Call HIMYM, Twitter and Instagram, same handle. Last Call HIMYM for all your How I Met Your Mother needs.
I was gonna say pretty much anywhere that we're available, it's Last Call HIMYM.
That's true.
Patreon, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. Josh's anus hole.
I mean, I should tattoo it right around the rim.
Do it, you won't.
You're right, I won't.
Somebody's like, why does it stay a last call?
But yeah, that's I think that's all I got for him, man. You got anything left for him?
Listen, people, you're not my father, so you don't have to go home and you can't tell me what to do, but you can't listen here.
Boom. Catch you guys next time.